Are you looking to maximize the amount of money that you can make from side hustles? If so, don't forget to join the Side Hustler Society newsletter so you can stay up to date and posted on when we come out with new content. By joining the newsletter, you will also receive Chapter 5 of my best selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. This chapter specifically focuses on income as well as the various types of income and what income will work best for you based on your expectations and overall what you want when it comes to money. Go to www.fachapter.com to join the newsletter and get started. Sup, my fellow hustlers. Welcome to another episode produced by the Side Hustler Society. And in this video, or podcast rather, we're going to be talking about event planning and the benefits it can offer you as a freelancer or as a hustler. Because if you plan events or if you're the founder of some kind of meetup group, regardless of if it has something to do with your profession or not, it can actually end up being an effective lead generator. I am literally proof of this because a lot of y'all know I actually do have a plant-based meetup group called the Veggie Outers that goes to vegan restaurants and reviews them on a scale of 1 to 10 based on a few different factors. And we also do other types of meetups that involve with health and wellness. Every now and then we'll go, see a movie, stuff like that. And I've actually gotten plenty of leads for my own business because a lot of y'all do know that I am a freelancer. I still do some video editing on the side. Even though I'm not full-time anymore, I'm not going to say no to money. And oftentimes, a lot of the veggie editors have actually used my services as a video editor. And I've actually gotten a number of consultations just from people being in my network, so to speak. And since the veggie editors was the cause of that, this is a proof of the strategy that we're going to be covering here. Joining me in today's episode is actually someone who has a lot of experience when it comes to event planning, both professionally and prior to what she does do. Her name is Kirsten Bradford, and she is an accomplished digital strategist and social media consultant with a strong educational background and extensive professional experience. She earned her bachelor's degree in communications and technology from the University of North Texas at Dallas and went to obtain a master's degree in management from Southern Methodist University. With 7 years in the digital strategy and social media consultancy field, Kirsten has honored her skills and expertise, making significant contributions to various projects and organizations. In 2023, Kirsten founded For the Girls Social, an organization dedicated to bridging the gap between education and socialization, creating an uplifting community for Black women in the DFW area. Since its inception in April 2023, For the Girls Social has been serving women throughout various initiatives, including social events, seminars, and impactful scholarships and community programs. Under Kirsten's leadership, the organization is expanding its efforts this year to reach and support more women, continuing to foster empowerment and connection within the community. So, with that intro and bio being done, let's go ahead and hop into today's episode and get started.
Welcome to the Side Hustlers Society podcast, the place where you can find out more about the hustles that are best for you. And of course, make more money in the process. Elijah has been in the gig economy and freelance space for over 8 years and has done over 4,000 deliveries on Uber Eats. Has several video editing clients, many properties on Airbnb, runs multiple YouTube channels, and is the author of the best-selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. It's his mission to empower people with the tools needed to be successful. Now, welcome your host, the king of the side hustles, Elijah Bilel.
Okay, we officially recording. We're live. I'm glad to be bringing Kirsten on to the show because I think you have a very unique skill set, and also you have a pretty powerful mission statement that people can definitely benefit from. How's your day going so far, Kirsten?
Kirsten, and it is going really well. I'm sorry, this mute button is we're gonna fight, but it's okay. We're gonna have a good show.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we've had a little technical difficulty, but you know what? We're not gonna let that stop the progress from going because we got to get y'all this information, side hustlers. So, with that being said, a lot of people are wondering, like, what's the origin story, like, for your business, For the Girls Social? You want to tell us some more about it?
Yeah, so but before I get started, I just want to thank you so much again for allowing me to be on your platform and share a little bit about myself. So again, my name is Kirsten Dion. I am the executive director and founder of For the Girls Social. And the way that we started was that um, in 2023, I was going through like a really rough spot in 2023. This is how it all came to be. Obviously, there are like a whole bunch of other things that took place before that really just shaped the mission. But in 2023, I was in a real rough spot, and I knew that I needed community more than anything. And from that rough place was birthed for the girls social. I had just a few of my girls. I was like, hey, let's go to brunch. And I extended it from them to like a few other friends of ours and then other friends of theirs. And it went from like one brunch 1 month to another brunch the next month. And then after that, just a series of socials. And from then on, we've been operating again since April 2023. And we've had plenty of brunches and picnics and so many other powerful events since then. And our largest event, which is around the corner, our Black Santa Christmas event, where we celebrate and highlight Blackness in our community, even through fictional characters, which is Santa. And also, we give away a scholarship to a single parent because, again, like I said earlier, a whole bunch of other things led to that one moment in April. So, as a single parent who has been in education and gotten my master's, I just feel like it's really important to go back and make sure that we're equipping other women who want to be able to do the same things that I've done. So that's pretty much how we started.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like originally was this unintentional? Then it kind of you saw that there was a need for this type of service and community. You decided to build it, or was it intentional? Where it's like, well, I kind of knew this ahead of time, so I made moves. It sounds like it kind of happened once you saw that there was an issue that needed to be addressed. Am I right?
I would say that it was by happenstance. I think that I've always been like purposed for something bigger than corporate America. And then I always tried other things outside of corporate America. So once this opportunity came and then it started showing itself to me, I definitely just turned my back completely to corporate America and then just started positioning myself to be able to be a resource.
Okay, gotcha. It's an interesting comparison because obviously it's very different from what you just what you've set up. But I'm comparing it to we had talked before. My audience already knows. I have a meetup group called the Veggie Outers, and we've been for going on 8.5 years now. And yeah, the way it started, I saw that there was a need, and I decided to go ahead and fill that need. So it's kind of unintentional. And the ironic part is this time around, the Veggie Outers kind of serves as a lead generator for my other businesses, even though the point of it isn't even to make any money, which is kind of interesting. And we'll elaborate further on that in the show. But yeah, I think you just kind of admitted that you're doing this full time, right?
That is correct. This is the only thing that I do, and I'm so glad.
Cool, cool. FYI, everyone, I actually met her at a networking event for entrepreneurship where it was like this panel. It was speaking on, people were speaking on exactly what is entrepreneurship to them, what are some of the struggles that people have, both emotional, practical, and intellectual. So, yeah, obviously, on the side of the society, we fully support you going full time at some point. In fact, I would go as far to say that's my personal mission statement for some people. But I digress. I digress. But yeah, with that backstory kind of been elaborated on, what type of events have you planned in the past? Because you mentioned how this is community building. So what type of events have you hosted?
Oh, that's a great question. And I'm excited to answer, but I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You said that we had a panel. I want to highlight that our cocktails and conversations by For the Girls is not paneled. Because I think that's what distinguishes us is that we do not have panels. So everybody that spoke was just people who wanted to talk and tell their own personal story. Because no matter what event I plan, I want everybody to feel communal. I want it to feel like everybody, it doesn't matter at what stage or what walk in life you're in, is that everybody is equal and everybody is good at whatever they're good at. And we can all learn from that. So definitely want to be able to answer your question, but I wanted to get to that first. And essentially some of the events that I planned before were they were really off brand, which is crazy. But you know, you never know what you're doing when you're doing it. You just do it. So I first was planning, this is crazy. So I am my group's mom. So, you know, everybody has a friend group and you're either the friend mom or you're the friend dad. So I'm the friend mom. And so before I planned anything, I was always planning the trips. I was always planning the outings. So I had always had this like event planner in me. I would plan, like I planned when we went to New Orleans. I spoke to everybody when we went to what is that? Hawaii? No, wasn't what was that? Hollywood. It was Hollywood. Um Vegas, planned all of that. So I have always been like the group planner. Everybody relies on me to make those phone calls and put together the PowerPoint of what we're gonna do. The itinerary is me. And then it went from that to I had my son. And so then I planned my own baby shower, which is absurd. And going back, I should have let everybody else do it. But so then I planned my own baby shower. Then I planned other people's baby showers and gender reveals. And then from that to what was that, fashion shows. So then I started planning fashion shows, and that was real interesting. Very, very different for me. And then after planning fashion shows, then I started doing small business pop-up shops, and that was a really interesting experience as well. And so all of those little things just like really helped me hone in my craft and realize, you know, that everything is sales and everything is marketing. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you have to know how to navigate those, and that language and verbiage is different. And so it went from that to now my biggest event here at For the Girls, which is our Black Santa Christmas event that again is coming up this December 7th. And to see how like I was always making my way to like this event and not really knowing that's what it was is even when you was the mom of the group, you were always honing in on the skill of you can plan events, you can plan things big and small, even cocktails and conversation. That's a type of event planning. So yeah, just kind of going from there to there, really, really, really different, but we're here now.
Wow. Yeah, I find it kind of funny because I can relate. You know, you said like you've been putting events together for quite some time, even if it's before it quote unquote professional. And when I say professional, doing something professional just means that you get paid to do it. That's literally all it means. So I remember like back when I used to work for Amazon when I was a PA. There's me, my friend David, and like there's this whole Amazon crew that kind of naturally developed of like 10 people, and we were all friends. And we noticed real quick that nothing would ever get planned, whether it be like, let's go see a movie or go out to eat or like whatever, unless either me or David planned it. So like people kind of like joked that like, hey, these are like the fathers of our little crew. Because nothing, if they wouldn't plan something, we just wouldn't meet up. We probably would all fall apart. And I found that kind of funny. But it was very true. And anytime someone wanted to do something, they would come to one of us. Like, hey, you know, y'all, can you set up this or this or this? Like, I can really relate to that. But interesting thing is, you were doing it for essentially you're doing it not professionally for a good while, developing your skills, and whether you realized it or not at the time, essentially you're working for free, and then those skills more easily transferable once you decide to build something bigger around it. Would you say that that's pretty accurate?
That's 100% correct. I feel that I just, you know, leadership is very strange. I don't think anybody is ever just like wakes up and says, I'm the leader. Like it's just kind of like something that falls in your lap. And so, yeah, that's basically the story. Love, like when I finally became a mom, it was like, oh, this is the best job ever. I've been doing this. It's way different, but it's like now there is a different, it's a reward. Maybe not payment, but it is a reward in being a parent to a small person and not big people your age.
Got you. Okay. So this next question, a lot of people may be wondering about this, but as far as events go, do you mainly plan free events for your organization, or are some of them paid?
So, to answer your question, these events, I thought, you know, they should be free, because I'm trying to build this following. I'm trying to get people bought into what we're doing. And now I'm in this state of, you know what? Everything that I am doing is valuable and it costs me money and it costs me time. And that um, the resources that I have and that I'm going to use for other people, they should not be free. So, as a member for the Grow Social, this is a free resource to members. But even with that, there is going to be a membership fee come in 2025 because that exclusivity and the resources that we do provide are very, very valuable. And a lot of these people who are in these corporate spaces and just in these really professional spaces, they're giving us their time. So we have to be able to compensate in some type of way. And we have to be able to, keep the doors open on the nonprofit. So memberships will in the near future be, they'll cost. And then
There'll be a fee.
yeah, and then even the cocktails and conversations. The first one was free. Just wanted to see what it was like, and now those are ticketed, and we have For the Girls Fridays at Sankofa now, and those are ticketed as well. So just making sure that everything that we do, because we know there is a value add there, we are attaching a value to it. Am I scared? You bet. But do it scared, do it anyways.
Well, I think that's kind of part of entrepreneurship. You're gonna have fears, and I think part of responsibility. And I'm quoting Robert Kiyosaki from his book "Before You Quit Your Job," but part of being an entrepreneur is quite literally for you to face your fears so that it could benefit you and the people you're responsible for. Versus, when you're an employee, fear is a good thing because it kind of keeps you. You want to make sure that you're going to be a perfectionist and deliver value. And if there's too many mistakes, that's when you run the risk of getting written up or fired. When you're an entrepreneur, not only do you need to face your fears, you need to be comfortable with making mistakes so you can learn from them. And that's part of your responsibility as an entrepreneur. So it's actually a very inverted world. Yeah. But with that being the case, let me just chime in real quick because some people in the audience might be wondering, okay, so Elijah, I'm a plumber, or I'm a graphic designer, or I'm a video editor. How does event planning benefit me? I'm gonna refer y'all to a podcast I did with Pam Hill she's a real estate investor, and she spoke on exactly what are the benefits, not the benefits, but exactly where would be a great place to find mentorship or to find good deals at. And she told you to stay away from those like salesy type real estate events that these are just some random people hosting something so they can sell you something. And she directly recommended, who will have good meetups where you could probably find some decent deals at? People who are realtors, people who are real estate agents. They're providing this educational experience for their meetup group, or they post events on Meetup or Eventbrite or whatever. And you learn a lot from that event. But guess what? The next time it's time for you to buy a house, who do you think you're going to call? You're going to call them. So that free event ends up being a lead generator for that. They're in the same boat as you. They're a freelancer. So this is where the value of event planning can really come into play. So that's why y'all want to soak up this game, because it can serve as a very passive lead generator, and it's like building tenure. Some people may be interested right away, but you can get a call 6 months from now. Hey, I need your service, and as long as you're easily accessible, do I need to say anymore? But swinging back to the event planning, I asked that question because you said you plan on charging in the future, but in the past, have you ever charged for an event?
So, up until I did, up until I started doing For the Girls Social, everything was ticketed. Everything was ticketed.
Okay.
And then now, as I moved into this, similar to your thought pattern, or, just similar to things that have worked, is sometimes you have to look at events at holistically, like holistically, will this person be a buyer of what I'm selling so long as they're exposed to what I do? And so far, from what I've seen in my organization, every free event that I've held, I have made a connection with my audience so strong that I have members. Like, I can say that I have members. And they are very faithful to our events. All they had to do was be exposed. And now they're faithful. They come to anything that they can come to, and they try to make everything. So much so that we're now starting to implement like rewards for attendance, because it's just like, you guys are here like you run it. Like, y'all are here on time, bright and early, smiling faces, and you're here at everything. So we just want to be able to say thank you to all of the members who come and who are consistently showing up and bringing other people. Like, that's so great. And like you said, that's part of having the free events. That's part of being in community. And I don't think a lot of people know that there are jobs being created now called community engagement officers. And essentially, those are people that have corporate jobs that are there to engage with people. Because if you're not there in person, if you're not going to the events where your people will be at, nobody wants, they like, it's a job now. Like, you have to be in the community and connecting. So events are very important. So important that there is now a job for people to go to events, and there has always been a job in corporate America for event planners. So just if you were worried about events, be a part of them, create them, and go to them.
I was not aware that existed, but I guess in the growing landscape that we're dealing with, it makes sense why a position like that would need to be created. Hmm. And what she's talking about, there's a book. I guess I'm a walking dictionary today, but what do y'all expect? Y'all see my bookshelf. Y'all see this every single episode. Y'all know I'm pretty literate. But there's a book called Superfans by written by Pat Flynn, and he basically outlines the hierarchy of people who support you. There's obviously and it's layered. There's people who support you with their eyeballs, free. There's people that will come to an in-person event, but it's still free. Then there's people that's willing to give you money, where they're your Patreons. Then you have your super fans, where these are people that spent more than $100 with you. Like, once you pass a certain amount, these are your ride or dies. And it's if you get involved in event planning, it's a great transition point for that hierarchy. Because if you just do this online stuff, a person may be watching you for free, so they're supporting you with their eyeballs, which is first level. But if you have something in person they can go to, they may go ahead and go to that. And then once something paid is offered, or they see that something is paid available, they may go ahead and take the next step. So you'll have a higher conversion rate, as opposed to if that free event wasn't there, not everyone will make that instant leap to being a paying customer unless that event was kind of like the transition point. So it can actually end up working very hugely in your favor. But Christian, I got to ask you, um, when it comes to event planning, because I've experienced this to some degree too, do you use different strategies for free events in terms of promotion? versus paid events where obviously it does cost something? Do you use different strategies and tactics based on if an event is free versus if it's paid?
No. And
Oh,
the reason for me saying no is because I think it's two-phase right now. I am in the 0 to 3, so I'm in the startup phase of the business cycle. And also because to me, it takes the same amount of energy. It's gonna take the same amount of energy to promote a free event as opposed to a paid event. So if I'm going to if I go all out for a paid event because I know I'm gonna get money off of it, then have to like find these like go arounds to promote this like free event, it's gonna take the same amount of energy compared to if I just do it the way I would do it if I had a paid event. Like I feel like the payoff is what I'm focused on when I'm throwing events. The payoff when I'm throwing free events is membership. The payoff with the memberships or growth in memberships is that people are bought into my organization. And then similar to what you were saying, is now you have that super fan. Because I threw a free event. Now I have people that are willing to pay hundreds of dollars compared to if I get these people, who I'm doing the paid event for, they may or may not come back. Um, and I'm still again putting out the same amount of energy. Like some
mm,
things you just have to do because it just needs to be done. That repetition, you have to work out that muscle. And planning events and going hard at events and promoting events, keep working out that muscle because you'll even now when I run ads, I've been to school for it's to learn how to run ads, you know what I'm saying? But that has evolved since 2021. And now I'm just like I'm gonna keep running ads because I need to keep seeing how well I'm doing, or if I'm growing and running ads, or if I need to pay somebody to run my ads. Like I do it for great practice. I'm gonna do it the same way for great practice sake, because I always want to be a student of my craft. And when I get to the point where I can start bringing people on, if I'm always in practice, it's gonna be really easy to tell when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, um, not for nothing but great practice sometimes.
okay. And just so everyone knows, when you say 0 to 3, you're talking about in that phase of the business where it hasn't been beyond 3 years, right? That's what you're referring to. Some people they may not know what that means, so I want to make sure they get what you're saying. So this question, I'm real curious about your answer, but yeah, I saw that you were on the Meetup app, right? I got to ask you, how useful has the Meetup app been for you, and would you say it's worth it?
Meetup has been very worth it for me. I'm not entirely sure how it has been for anybody else, but I was in corporate America before this, and corporate America introduced me to Meetup. I had no idea of its existence until corporate America, and I have been winning off of Meetup. If you not winning off of Meetup, you not trying to win off of Meetup because the audience is there. These are already segmented people. People who are on Meetup are literally trying to find a place to be. They're segmented. And then they segment themselves again because they follow your platform. If you're not touching them, if you don't want to be a part of them, if you don't want to grow whatever you're doing, don't be on Meetup and just leave those people who connect with you to be. But I'm telling you, I think I had 50, maybe not even 50, maybe 30 people when I threw my Christmas event. And I think six of them showed up, which is a great conversion. Um, and I've been growing ever since. So I grew 200% between May and July, just getting out of school. So between May and July, I grew 200%. Like Meetup is a great tool, and the organization has grown, and people are far more bought in. Like I said, the people who keep coming and keep showing up as members, those are the people that came off of Meetup. And additionally, I just want everybody to know that your super fans are not anybody that you know right now. They are not your friends. Your super fans are not your friends. They're not your family. They're not your mom's friends. Your mom's friends don't give a hoot about you. They're not going to support you. The people who do support you are people that have no idea who you are. They've never heard your story before, and they're just interested in what you have. So if you're on the internet, on Twitter, very sad and writing those little spicy tweets talking about, or whatever they are, X's, writing those little spicy X's where people are like, I can't believe my friends aren't supporting your business. Newsflash, they won't. So you need to focus on the people who are supporting your business, because it takes the same amount of effort. And the same amount of effort you went to go put that tweet on X, you could have put a positive tweet on X about how all of these super fans you created from people that you don't know. Every time, I'm sorry, I'm on a rant, but every single time that I think about the people who aren't supporting me, I tweet about the people who are, and it changes my whole perspective. Attitude is everything. So that's for somebody. I didn't need, like, Spirit put that on me. That was for somebody. Whoever is watching this, under the sound of my voice, your friend is not supporting you. Oh,
well. Nice sermon. And there's definitely, I could feel the passion in your voice coming from that. I think it's important that people need to hear that. If you are going to prospect your friends and family, maybe the name of the show should be Dictionary or something, because I'm going to refer another book. But most people don't have a network marketing background, and there's a book called GoPro by Eric Worre, and he says that most people fail in network marketing because they only use like one approach. It's the direct approach, and that only works like 10% of the time. But there's three approaches. There's the direct approach, the indirect approach, and the super indirect approach. And if you're gonna approach your friends and family about this thing you got going on, I think it really should be the super indirect approach. Now, what was that? You basically say, hey, this is what I got going on. I know it's not for you, but do you know anyone that might be interested in it? And they'll want to know more about it before they refer some of their friends and family, but they will be intrigued to hear what you got going on. So then that happens, you've effectively let them know what you have going on, and they're not going to do anything for a while. But once it gets big and they see it getting big, like they see these social media posts building and the credibility building, like, hey, so it looks like that's turning out pretty good. Like, when's your next event, or when's like such and such going on? And quite literally, I've done this with the Veggie Outers. Even though I'll say we started out kind of modestly, we started out with our meetups being about like 11 people. But once they really start exploding into like having 20 or 25 people per meetup, and people seeing the video reviews and all the food, the pictures they're taking and all that, people were like, oh, wow, like, hey, when do y'all have the next meetup? They want to be there at the conclusion, not at the beginning. You can't fault them for that. Just set your expectations, okay? Yeah.
Set your expectations. To piggyback off of that, honestly, my Christmas event, I'm in the middle of my master's program. So this is something I shouldn't be doing anyways. Just want to make that clear. I should not be throwing an event this large in the middle of a master's program. With a 2.8, and I had to make a 2. And I had to make a 3.0. But God is good. But so I'm in the middle of planning this, and I'm telling my parents about it. And they're like, okay, girl, blah, blah, blah. And I keep telling them about it. I even called my brother, and he was like, yeah, I'll be there to support you. Not knowing that it was going to be all hands on deck. So they're thinking that I'm going to bring out maybe 50 people. When 150 families showed up, it was like, oh, you moving and shaking in the city. Like, my dad just could not believe it. He was like, and you did all of this and you were in school. I was like, and you're not gonna believe what I do next year, because it's so different. And like you said, like, if books are writing this and they're very consistent about writing this, then that just goes to show you, like, don't give up. Like you're like they're not gonna believe it until the conclusion, similar to what you said. Like, and it's okay that you just do it anyways. You keep going anyways.
Indeed. So, what would you say is the hardest part that you've ever experienced when it comes to planning an event?
Human capital is something that is very reliable human capital and professional human capital has been difficult, not just in event planning, but in business. I think that some people have really great intention, but they don't have really great work ethic. And when you're in the building stages of something, you can't rely on intention. You have to have people who have it in them. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to really want something for themselves. Like you want something from yourself. Maybe they don't believe in the organization, but they have to believe in what they do and the role that they play in the organization or whatever you're doing. And so it's been very difficult for me to find people that believe in what they do best. I think it has been very easy for me to find people that believe in the organization, but people who believe in what they do and what they can bring to the organization. The people that I have in the organization that are fully bought in and also good at what they do, I'm thankful for. And I think that is something that there's like you can't buy that. People having work ethic, you can't buy that. People not only having work ethic but also believing in you, you can't buy that. So I'm thankful for every single person that is on my team and on my board that have both because it is very scarce.
Okay. Kind of to go further in what you said, you said that finding those two qualities in a person is very rare. What advice would you recommend to give people to potentially find people like that in the beginning?
Don't be afraid to hire the person that's eager to learn. I find that the person that is eager to learn is the person that is easiest to work with. They might not have all the expertise. You may be looking for somebody who is a little bit more advanced, who's a little bit more intermediate, as opposed to beginner or entry. But be okay with entry because once you build somebody who is at that entry level, once you show them what you want and teach them a skill that they can take and make money off of, they're bought into you. As opposed to people who come with sometimes, and this is sometimes what I find is like somebody who comes with more experience, they try to tell you what you
More,
need. Like, hold on. I invited you here for your expertise. I didn't need your advice. I need your expertise. So yeah, I would say don't be scared of building with somebody. Um don't be scared of that learning curve because it's gonna be a learning curve. But have patience and know that like if somebody is at least hungry for their craft, finding that person that is hungry for their craft, that is always looking to hone in on their craft, that's the person that you want to work with because they're going to get it right, not just for you, but because they want to get it right for themselves too. And you have to find that. That's so important. It's so important.
okay. And a good example what you're talking about is there's a lot of programs that y'all can do some independent research on this, but if you got certain stuff going on, you may qualify to be a conduit for an internship where someone could obviously if they're a complete beginner, their whole objective is to learn, and in most cases they're working for free, but it's part of the learning experience, and that's a great example of a person that would be someone that you would want to work with. Hmm. And just to kind of bring this back to event planning, well, this part of event planning, but what you're talking about is if people are going to be, if you're going to be hiring people and stuff like that, even if you're not going to be doing that, let's say you just start a small meetup group and you don't necessarily need to delegate anything to anyone. there's going to be people in your meetup group eventually that are going to be showing more interest than the other people. These are people when you say share something, you see a notification on Facebook that they actually shared the event. You need to keep an eye on people like that. So if an opportunity does come to further the organization or the meetup group, those are the people that you would actually want to go to first because they've shown uh, a level of interest is higher than the average person in the meetup group, in the organization, and what you got going on. Don't just ignore that or not see it. Keep your eyes open for stuff like that because that's how it was with the veggie outers. Like I saw that some people they were really like down for the cause. They were sharing the events, and these are the people that'll be your foot soldiers. And most importantly, when they do stuff for you, be sure to thank them. There was a quote from what was the course I took a good while ago. The course isn't available anymore, but he had this metaphor about like fire. Now, like entrepreneurs and freelancers, they are usually equivalent to fire. But one thing you got to be careful is people who have so much fire in them can be abusive of those that support them. And a lot of people think of abusive as in like you're cussing someone out or something, and that is. But another form of abusive is not being grateful for them and taking what they do um, for granted. So one way you can avoid that is always be sure to just thank them and remain grateful.
I like to piggyback off of what you're speaking of because what I was saying earlier is that we started implementing like a reward program at for the girls because of memberships and members who kept coming back. So to show I'm thankful, I just want to highlight two of our members right now, Jasmine and Imani. Jasmine, she joins our meetup group in January. And I think Jasmine has missed one event. Jasmine has been at everything. She's been at things more than board members. Jasmine shows up. And so when I said like I had to do something for her, I was like, I have to do something for this girl. Like she's so amazing to us. And so that's when I was like, okay, well, not for nothing. Like I want to add this program anyways, but if there were ever a better candidate to start receiving things from For the Girls, it is Jasmine. So I want to shout out to Jasmine. Then Imani. We met her. Ooh, when did Imani come? All the months are running together. I think Imani came like in the she came this summer. I can say that for sure. She came this summer. I think she came at our ice cream social. That was our first meetup. Yeah, that was her first meetup. Imani came at our ice cream social, and I'm so thankful for her. She is so active. She is one of those that are like since she has attended that first ice cream social, she has attended everything else. Everything following that ice cream social, she's been there. She is somebody that shares and likes. And let me tell you something. Let me go back to Jasmine real quick to highlight her. Jasmine is only on Facebook. Now that's where we promote the least. Do you hear me? Like, and at least I'm being honest because that's not really where our platform is. But Jasmine is, so she's screenshotting from where we typically post and putting it on her Facebook. Okay. And then Imani, she is actively sharing on her Instagram. She's actively commenting. And the other day, she texted me because all of the members have my personal phone number. It's important for me that they have it. But she texted me and she was just like, yeah, I love everything that you're doing. Or no, she didn't say she said, I love everything that we're doing, which shows that she's community focused. Like, she's not a board member. She's just a regular member. Like, and she was like, I love what we're doing. So just being thankful for people like that. Absolutely thankful for the Jasmines and the Amanis and the ones that are to come. Because they really make, they sell the group. Like, it's so crazy that I like how much I'm starting to pull back too, because they do it. Like, they tell about how great the group is and they tell about all of their other meetup experiences. So just be thankful for the people who care and who are there, because it really makes a difference. I didn't know these girls in 2023. Now you can't tell me nothing about them.
Nice. Well, now I feel like I have to name drop the special. Well, there's been a lot of people that have supported the veggie outers, but I'm like top. I'm not gonna say top. These people have been consistent, like the most consistent. But David, Travis, and Gal, they've really been putting in the work for the group. And I know if some of y'all are watching, there's your shout out because y'all been putting in work. It's y'all are a big reason why the veggie outers is so big and successful now. Yeah. But I guess with that being said, we can go ahead and start winding down the interview. But I always ask my guests if you have a question that you want to hit me with. But the audience has banned the question of why did you start the Side Hustle Society podcast. If I say that, they're going to put a contract out on you. I don't want to see you hurt. So, do you have any question aside from that one that you want to hit me with?
I wouldn't ask anybody like on they show why, because 9 times out of 10, like I've said that probably in my first episode or like my 15th episode. Like we're beating a dead horse. So don't come for me in the comments because I wasn't gonna ask that anyways. But I would say on this journey for you, um, I think sometimes that I've struggled, even like in my journey, in my walk, with consistency. How do you hold yourself accountable to stay consistent?
Deep question. I guess there's a few ways. One of the ways for me, it's kind of like using a weakness to your advantage. I have enough introspection to realize that to some degree, I have like a fear of ridicule. So I use that to my advantage. The way this manifests is if you stop doing something, then you lose credibility. And for me, since I've been self employed for over 7 years, oh, why'd you stop? Like, what's going on? Are you starting to lose money? Did you go run back to the job? What's going on? So I post what I'm about to do on a regular basis, and I make it known when people can expect certain things. Like people know on Financial Anatomy channel, there's going to be a video at least once a week. Now, oftentimes I will do more than one video per week, but life does happen. So the fallback is once a week. And they keep seeing that consistency like, okay. I'm using like my fear of ridicule to motivate me to stay consistent, even if that means that life is going to get a little harder. Hey, I don't want to be perceived that way. So that's what keeps my output up. And the other one, I talk about this in my book, The Anatomy of Financial Success, but I call it the will to raise income. But if you're really, really, really focused on the outcome that you want, you're gonna get it. The point is, most people aren't focused, and they don't have enough introspection to sit down and really iron out their goals and seeing how achieving that goal will benefit them, their families, and humanity in some way. Those are the three emotional triggers that's required to raise to essentially achieve your financial goals. Now, here's the key thing: depending on your personality, one of those triggers is going to be higher than the other. You may be selfish, so your selfish desire to have things in your life is the more prime motivator for you to do things. Don't ignore the other two. You should still have reasons you're doing it for your family that they'll benefit from, and a reason. This is more of a bonus. Not everyone has to have this, but a reason that's more philanthropy based. Like, hey, when I get this money, I'm going to support this cause via my time or my money. Now, some of y'all are pro family. That's going to be your emotional trigger. Don't neglect the other two. And some people, y'all are full on philanthropists. Like, hey, it's not about me. It's about improving humanity. Don't neglect the other two. So I really tell people to sit down, just dedicate a whole evening to this and write down your selfish reasons. Write down the reasons that will benefit your family and write down the reasons that will benefit humanity or some big group in some form. And once you have that, pick three from each trigger and you'll have a list. Print that list out, look at it. And you could get real fancy with this, get a graphic designer to make it all cute and whatnot, but put it in your bathroom and you see it every single day and you're covering all those emotional triggers. That's when it's going to get you out the bed and make you get out and make that money so that you can contribute to what you want to contribute to. I know I got real braggadocious, got real deep right there, but it's something that I'm passionate about.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful. And I'm definitely going to play this back so I can write that down because I was like, I don't want to just be writing on film, but that's something that I need to do. What are my triggers? That's a good one. And then I guess the follow-up question to that would be, I'm sorry, now I'm interviewing you, but we got time. So, but I guess the follow-up question to like how you stay consistent is when you are fatigued, because everybody gets fatigued. What are some of the things that you have already implemented to make sure that even when you are fatigued, you can keep going? Or are there people in position to help you when you're fatigued?
Well, in terms of people, I would say no, with the exception of like I don't design my own thumbnails. I have someone who designs my thumbnails for me, and I pay him. So I've outsourced things I don't like because I don't like graphic design. I can do it, but I don't like it. And when you're doing something that you don't like, that contributes to you being fatigued much faster. So the first thing I did when I got the money to do so is outsource the things I actively don't like doing that are taking energy away from me. So that extends my fatigue bar if we're gonna treat it like a video game. Like that will come much later. Aside from that, anything that I can do to make a process easier and less energy, I do. A good example, I'm recording in my set, but a lot of people don't know that I don't touch my set at all. It stays set up. So the thing that holds my camera up, it stays there. My ring light, it stays there. Uh, well, the way I've designed my set, bookcase is always going to be here. I'm not going to be moving that around. The table that I'm sitting at, always here. So when I want to film a video, there's not this mental stagnation of, oh, I got to set up the set. When I'm finished, I got to take it down. No, I created a scenario where this can be in its own room, which means I can just leave this stuff set up. Mental hacks like that play a big role in making sure that you don't get too fatigued. And if you are fatigued, it doesn't require so much energy to go ahead and do it. So it kind of reminds me of like when I go work out. There's some days I don't feel like working out, but if I can just get in the gym and maybe it's not going to be the best workout, I'm not giving it 100%. Maybe I'm giving it 70, but I still got my butt in the gym and did it. So that counts for something. It's the same concept.
I absolutely love that. That's a fantastic answer. And I think that a lot of people don't give themselves credit for just doing the small things. And I think that small thing to like give to keep you from being fatigued is like you said, it's identical to the gym. So I'm gonna keep this set up because there's gonna come a day when I don't feel like hitting that gym the same way. So at least let it just be set up. I love that answer. And I promise this is my last question. How many books do you read annually?
Annually, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a set number anymore. I used to, but I guess if I was to give a number, it'd be between 3 to 5 books. But I used to, it'd be like 10 to 20 a year. A part of the reason to slow down, a lot of people know my first channel covered Uber Eats and DoorDash and stuff like that. There's no one in the car but you and a burrito. And the burrito's not going to mind if you put an audiobook on. So I was just gobbling audiobooks, stuff like that. And I made sure I got the physical copies too. Because most of these books, I've only read like 1/4 of them. The rest of them I've listened to. And a lot of people are like, well, why do you have a physical book? It's a trophy. I like the trophy.
I tell people that one all the time. Please don't. Please don't. I have read this book, even if somebody else read it to me. I have read this book. Leave me alone. Why do you need to go get the physical? Because it looks, doesn't this look pretty when I just hold it up? Hold on one second. Doesn't this look real good when I hold it up and I be like, yeah, read it. Yeah, it does. And you see all the thick old pages in there. Makes you say, she's a scholar. Yeah, leave me alone. I'm going to keep getting the physical books. Doesn't matter how many times I listen to it on audio.
Indeed. But I would say part of the reason I don't read as much anymore, once you put your tenure in really the the four main life areas, health and wellness, finance, relationships, and spirituality, you have a perspective on life that's you. I don't want to go as arrogant to say that you don't need to read anymore. It's just you learn the ability to think for yourself. Like the educational system doesn't really encourage thinking for yourself; it actually attacks your ability to think for yourself. And once you read enough books on all the subject matters I just talked about, you gain the ability to think for yourself. Then books become more of a okay, I just need the information, like the minute details. So let me go ahead and grab that. But most, like I would easily say, half the books out there, they're not strictly information and details. A lot of them are philosophical, which is fine. But once you develop your own philosophy, those books don't have as much to offer you. So you really just look to get the information, strictly the information. That's why the amount of books I've read throughout the years, well, really, I would say throughout the last 2 years, has dropped to like 3 to 5. But I'm real selective on what those 3 to 5 books are going to be. Versus previously, I would I would still read or listen to quality books, but I wouldn't be as selective. Like I listen to 3 or 4 things on the same subject matter to get these 3 or 4 perspectives in addition to the information. Now my perspective has been molded, so I just need the information.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Cool, cool. Well, I'm pretty sure the audience got a lot out of you asking the additional questions, so don't feel too bad about it. But since we are winding down the show, why don't you let the audience know on where can they find you? Feel free to drop your social media and also your website. We'll link in the description, but for the audio listeners, let's hit them with it.
Okay, thank you so much again for having me on your show. I really appreciate this, and I hope that somebody got a little something out of what I said today. You can find me on all social media platforms at the number 4, the girls social. You can also find us on our website at www.thegirlssocial.org. We're also on LinkedIn, and you can connect with us at the number 4, the girls social. That's all one word also. The number 4, the girls social, all one word. And then you can find me on LinkedIn at Kirsten Bradford MS on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Y'all be sure to check her out. Also follow her. And we'll go ahead and start winding down the show. I mean, I think it was a very productive show. Great show. A lot of gems were dropped, even some of the stuff outside of event planning. But even the stuff we did talk about in regards to event planning and the benefit it can have in terms of lead generation for freelancers had a lot of value. So if y'all are listening to us on YouTube, if you can give this video a thumbs up, very much appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And if you found value, feel free to leave us a review in the platform that you're listening or watching on. It's been Elijah with the Side Hustler Society. Be safe and be profitable, everyone, and keep an eye out for our next episode. Peace out.
This episode may be over, but your hustling journey has just started. Visit thesidehustlersociety.com to access all links and resources mentioned in the show that will help you on your hustler's journey.